going on, everybody? Let's turn this bright. Hello. There's a lot going on this morning. What's up, Tori? Thanks. It's good to be here. Yeah, man, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on YouNow right now. What's up, T? Good to see you again, man. Thank you for bringing your fans. It always makes me feel good in a very special way. Not that kind of special way, but like when I see someone come on for the first time and then like they come on the next time and I go, dope, dude. It just makes me happy. Just makes me happy, T. And T's cool. I didn't scare him away the other day. He's like, yo, you do beats? And I was like, let me do some beats on the table. And he was like, that fool. I don't know, man. Maybe I'll try it one more time. Tori's shaking her head. She's like, yeah, this is what it is all the time. This is what it is. It's the comedy hour. Alyssa, what's going on? We're going to be talking some music today. Oh. T likes that control. Not you, T, the other T. Tori T. T's like, yo, like, give me some control right now. She likes to be in charge. She likes to be in charge. You're assigned. Safety first, y'all. You know how it is. Got that blue. How's everybody doing today? I hope you guys are well aware. Shiny badges. T, we'd love to have you in the future. We're going to have a guest on in like 6 minutes. So maybe on the next round or perhaps at the end of this, we could bring you in. Appreciate it though. What are we going to be doing today? We're going to be talking music. If you guys are not aware, probably are aware. Thanks, man. No, seriously, I'd love to chat with you and find out more about what you're up to and talk music, and we could do like a freestyle rap. I'm trying to basically like I don't know. He's like that was another like I don't know moment. Like I don't know. Do I want to freestyle rap with this cat? You do, dude. I know you do. Secretly, you're like, yeah, I kind of do. So there's a YouNow festival. Yeah, dude, you're going to like it here. It's kind of weird, full of love, kind of weird. What else would you say, Tori? What would be the primary characteristics of this funky bunch of kids we got on this thing? Like, give me an adjective. Let's play that. Everybody gets an adjective. That's 2 words. Come on, man. Play the game. Yeah, come on, Toya. She's like, shit. I'm going to get the S-bombs out of the way first before all the kids show up. Come on, T. That's 2 words. T, you've been on here twice now. What would you say so far? What's the adjective you would use? I feel like this is like a classroom when we're learning like Spanish. Supportive. I think that's true. I think that comes from the heart. I think you and I both are, and everybody here, frankly, if you ain't supportive, get the F out. You see how it got kind of dark there? It was like, wow, man. Thanks, bro. Learnable. I like that. I love that, actually. That's exactly what we're going for. That's fucking exactly it. Learnable. Love it. Educational. Bumpin'. We can turn on some tunes. I was actually thinking about like songs that would be good for like an intro song, like a warm-up song we could do every time. And then because my brain is like 20 years in the music industry, I'm thinking like, do we have a licensing situation there if I play the same song and it's not our song? And I think YouNow We talked about that a little bit. We haven't gone deep into that, but I think there is probably a certain amount of, I know when you do covers, Dan, you're the man. Thank you so much, Dan. Dan's crazy. He's insane in the brain. Appreciate you, dude. And like, thank you so much, Dan. We love you. Hope everything's going well. I'm sure you got a busy day because it's the festival day. This is like Coachella for YouNow today. And yeah, it's hard to do. To make me speechless. Anyway, yeah, appreciate you being here. Thanks for the love. Yeah, we're gonna pop into as many of those as we possibly can. I have a crazy busy day, but like Tori and I are gonna sort of try and tag team a little bit and catch. There's so much stuff on YouNow. Like, I wish I could clone myself so I could. This sounds like I'm pandering, but like I wish I could just clone myself and be on YouNow all the time. I was a lot when we first started doing this, and I was like, this is fucking cool. This is amazing. And there's so many people that I would love to be able to watch more and learn from more and chat with more. And I just think that there's so much cool stuff. I think it's up to 3. Yeah. I'm getting it all out before 10. It's 9:58, and then it's going to be squeaky clean. There's so much stuff going on YouNow. And the other thing I was thinking about this morning, being kind of nerdy and reflective, was when you learn a new language, part of what makes learning a new language challenging and also very fun is actually going in to the country or going in with a community that speaks that language only, and just being there and letting yourself feel it and understand it, rather than just sort of like picking apart, okay, these are nouns, these are verbs, this is how you say that. And I feel like YouNow is I mean, I can't think of any other space in any of this stuff that's going on with live streaming where you've got a feel to it across the board. And everywhere you go, there's this sort of culture that I think is amazing. And that's so hard to do. So I just think it's fun to swim around in it and learn from it. And I think it's a fascinating space. I'm kind of in love with it. So wanted to mention a couple things just because, like, every time we do this, Tori and I try and get a little bit better in some small way. So I think a couple weeks ago, I'm like, hey, Tori, what would be a great idea is like I could like tell people what's coming up for the next few every single time. And I could do that like at the beginning and at the end. She's like, yeah, why don't you do that? And I'm like, because I always forget. And she's like, well, just don't forget. And I'm like, all right, I'll try and remember. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to kick this thing off. What's going on, 7000? You got a nice big smile on. It's great to see you guys. So yeah, let me just let you guys know a couple things that are going on for next week, and then we'll bring on our celebrity guests for the day. Hisham Dahoud is going to be our guest on the 1st of July. He is a digital strategist. He's sort of in the camp of, if you guys, yeah, I'm super pumped. He's got a lot of things he can talk about. I would sort of put him in a similar camp to like a Sherry Hugh, who came on very early on when we kicked this off a couple of months ago. He's sort of like a thought leader and someone who creates in the digital space, and can really, I think, help with some of the big picture questions, like where is this going? What about this piece? How does this piece fit in? Stuff like that. Super pumped to have him. Thank you. Yeah, he's amazing. Just Google him. I mean, you'll be like, well, I should probably be there for this one. And then the 3rd is a big day. Tori, what are we doing on the 3rd of July? You remember? You remember what's happening on that day? That's right, it's a holiday. Well, it's neighboring a holiday, so I figure you guys need to be holidaying. And I think that's very important. We need to have 8 hours of sleep. We need to have plenty of water. And we need to have holidays on the 3rd and 4th and the 5th and 6th, if possible, where applicable. So Hisham Dahoud on Wednesday, be there or be square. Please check out all of the artists that are going on throughout the day today. I don't know where exactly, Tori, you got the sort of announcement thing, but if there's any way to share that with this group, great. If not, I'm sure it's maybe somehow on YouNow. I unfortunately don't know an easy way to sort of be like, here's what's, what I could do? I could list a couple. We'll go super lo-fi just so. So for example, Uka Luka, no, actually he already kicked it off. Obviously these guys are coming on. 7000's coming on shortly after our stream today. Emma McGann, hello. Emma McGann is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, which is what, 3:30 our time in that Pacific zone. Care Bear, I see a lot. I know she's doing a lot of good things. So I'll just roll these off just in case it's useful for you guys. Paul Guitar Lover FX is at 3 o'clock. Magda Kaminsky is at 3:30. Courtney May Officials at 4. Sable Breeze is at 4:30. Jamie Foxx is at 5. Care Bears at 5:30. Angelica Falls is at 6. 6:30 is Emma McGann. Do not miss that. Do not miss that. Don't. Just don't. Even if you think you will now, change your mind before 6:30. Erica McKenzie, Humble at 7. Is going to put a pin in everything and wrap it up. So love you guys. East West Studios is coming back in a couple of weeks. We had to reschedule, and let's bring on our peeps. You guys ready to go? You guys got the light and the camera and your guitars ready? Are you going to do some performing for us? Let's see who's in here. Yeah, man. Angelina, good to see you. Robbie, good to see you. The Tunisian. Seeing some good people in here. Positive Cynthia. T's already here. What's going on, peoples?
Hello.
Hey.
How are you guys doing?
We're great.
Good,
How are
yeah.
you?
I just realized I didn't have these on, so let me pop these on.
Yeah, no worries.
It's like, wow, it's like very speakery.
That happens to us too.
Does
I hope
it?
our speakers are done. Or
Yeah.
what?
Are you good? Did we lose connection?
I don't know.
We'll see.
We lost him.
Sorry,
at
I
least.
usually warn
Okay.
people. Oh, I'm gonna freeze for 4 seconds, and then I
Okay.
go.
Okay. We're just really worried that it's our internet because it's been like super mean today. It just keeps going out, but hopefully it'll stay on. And
Super
if it
mean
doesn't,
internet.
come back.
That could be a good
Yeah.
like side band project. You guys are like, yeah, we have another project we don't tell people about. It's called Super Mean Internet,
Right.
and pretty self-explanatory.
It's
We
super
call you
relatable.
up, we play half a song, and then we just bounce. And it's like,
Yeah.
what? How does the rest of that? How are you guys doing? We're thrilled to have you.
Oh my gosh, we're super excited to be
Yeah,
here.
super excited.
Yeah, we're good. It's a good day so far. Again, like internet problems, but hopefully that all like goes away and we'll just have a great day on YouNow. It's like busy today.
Have you guys been on YouNow like every day since you kind of started?
No, I think we were on almost every day for the first like 2 weeks
Yeah.
because we got editor's choice really quickly, which was really awesome. But that also,
Right.
put a little pressure on us. And then that week was also the same week that they extended the editor's choice to 2 weeks instead of just 1. And so we were like, oh, the week is over. Now we can rest. And then it was like, nope, you get another week. And we're like, ah.
It was great, but it was also like we weren't planning any of this. Like we weren't planning on doing YouNow to begin with. So
and then the whole Black Lives Matter movement started. So we also felt weird about being online at all. So we took a few days off anyway, and then we kind of took a little break this week because life is insane sometimes. And
holidays.
we just got back yesterday, so it feels really great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that we were very excited to have you guys on is that I feel like you're at this very interesting moment with the stuff that you're experimenting with, and particularly maybe on YouNow, where you're like, okay, this is like, we've seen some really nice things happen, but it still feels kind of new and we're just experimenting. So I think that's super cool. Are you guys going to perform something, or would you like to perform something? You guys down to do that?
Yeah, we're up for doing anything. We're like, we'll just like let you take the lead and just tell us what to do. And
I love you guys. So look, I think for people that I'm going to do just a quick 30-second sort of what is this, and then what I'd love to do is just let you guys play a song, because I think this is all really about music first, and then we'll talk about other stuff wherever you guys want to go with it, or where we end up going with it. So this stream is basically the whole concept that Tori and I put together around the time of the pandemic was, why don't we do a live stream on live streaming for music professionals, for artists, for producers, for people that are trying to figure out like, what the hell is live streaming really? What should we do with it? And trying to get people that can share their knowledge in one way or another. And that's kind of what we do. We just try and bring people on twice a week. We've fortunately been successful. I think we've missed one day out of 3 months so far. And so that's what we do. So let's let you guys, what song would you like to play for us today?
I don't know. We can play possibly an original then.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, definitely original. Yeah.
He's for it too, so that's good. I don't know. Do you feel like you want to do like?
I mean, whatever you guys want to do is fine.
Yeah. We're just like,
I'm trying to be neutral. Like, I really would love an original. Why don't you do one of your well, no, you do whatever you want to do.
I mean, if you have a suggestion, that's always better.
Yeah, if you have something you want
to do. So okay, if you're gonna do that and let me pick, then I'm gonna pick. I'm checking my email because Tori had sent me.
Love it.
Sorry. Hold on.
No, it's all good.
What are your newest two songs?
It's we just released a song called "Until I Found You," so that's the newest. Otherwise, it's the album.
Until I Found You. Let's do that.
Okay, let's do it. It's a good one, and it tells our story pretty well too. We met in 2012. I was an exchange student. I'm originally from Stockholm, Sweden. And
Cynthia's favorite song in the whole world of yours. Let's not exaggerate. Like, there's probably other songs in that same category of fave, but of your songs, Cynthia's like, oh, this is my favorite song.
Yeah, this one, we like this one a lot, and it means a lot to us. And we also, this was the one that we performed on Sweden's Got Talent.
What?
Yeah. So we had a really great beginning of this year.
Had talent. No, I'm just. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
When did you perform this?
We recorded it, or they taped the show in September, October of last year. Yep. Wow. And then it aired in February.
Unbelievable. Is it online anywhere like that?
Yeah, it's in Swedish. But if you search 7000 apart and talent,
Sweden's Got Talent.
It should pop up. Yeah.
Yeah. It does. So
cool. Yeah. Let's do it.
Kick it off.
Sweet.
My daddy said people fall out of love too easy. He said that right before he left my mom. He said there are a million possibilities in life to try, but me getting back with her isn't one. I could scream from the mountainside till the stars fall out from the sky, scream over the oceans and still doubt that we belong together. Will I be strong enough to stand with you, strong enough to pull through the hard times, always waiting for that implosion? Didn't believe there was one person to love through all the hard times. I didn't believe until I found you. My mother said that love is simple. and loving isn't hard to do at all. She said there's only one possibility when you found your angel. Don't let go, keep holding on. Will I be strong enough to stand with you? Strong enough to pull through the hard times, always waiting for that implosion. Didn't believe there was one person to love through all the hard times, I didn't believe until I found you. It's been 7 years since the day I met you. I'm still as happy as the first time I heard your name. We've been through so many things that I've lost track. 'Cause loving you makes the hard times go away. Will I be strong enough to stand with you? Strong enough to pull through the hard times, I didn't believe I'll be strong enough to stand with you. Strong enough to pull through the hard times, knowing there won't be an emotion. Now I know there is one person for me to love through all the hard times, but I didn't believe until I found you. Until I found you. Thank you.
Thanks.
This stream brought to you by Tissue. Everybody take a moment. Okay, we're back.
And we're back.
How do you put so much emotion in a song?
I think this is one of those that, like, it really came from a real place. And I think that's when, that's when real emotion comes out of it. And all these, like, the words still hit you. We have a couple songs like that. Another one is called Close Your Eyes. And that's also one of those that kind of still hit you,
Is that the one where it's different ages?
No, that one's really sweet too, though. That one's
nice.
Yeah.
When we were 18.
Yeah. No, Close Your Eyes. It's like a little darker. It has such cello in it. And it's just about, like, the hardest times in your life kind of a thing. And it's just like when you, like, these songs we wrote, like, sitting on the floor crying. And then, like, if you get that emotion when you write something, I think it always going to stick with you at least a little bit, know?
Even if you've played it like 100 times.
Yeah.
Like, still, like, it takes you back to that moment of, like, sitting on the floor. And
also, like, this one and Close Your Eyes, they're both kind of technically challenging to sing. And so if you use the right technique, it looks like you have a lot of emotion as well.
Which is
interesting. Just because in order for you to sing it technically, it sort of draws a certain something from your body that allows you to even convey even more on top of it.
It forces your body to look like you're feeling stuff, even though it might just be like technique work, which is also a really, really cool thing that, like, if you sing with the right technique, it's easier to show the right emotion and it's more believable.
It seems like you guys have kind of a unique strength to talk about topics that are especially emotional and do it in a way that's, like, still, like, it's not overkill or it's not like you're going so far, but you're saying something and people feel it. Like, that's so hard to do.
Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a combination of, like, we have been going through some really hard things personally, and we have a lot of people around us that have been going through hard things, and then we're also very positive people. Like, we want to have a positive outlook, and we want to be a positive part of someone's day. So I think like we don't wallow in our emotions, but we're like willing to talk about them.
We're also
if that makes sense.
not very good at being fake. I think that's like
we try to be as real as possible.
It's kind of great that like the music industry has kind of moved in that direction too, that it's more accepting to not like wear masks and, you know, like all these costumes. You can kind of be yourself. And I think that that's something that like we really like would have struggled with if we had to be like, these are your costumes that you put on, you know, like the Elton John type of thing, like where like he has to wear all this stuff, you know, instead of just like being able to be himself, you know. So I think that's helpful too.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's one of the things that intrigued me about live streaming in general was all of a sudden, even people be like, you guys play live shows and you know how to do that and kind of bring it and be entertaining and keep people engaged. And that's requires a certain intimacy with that audience. But live streaming, regardless of the platform, but I think especially on YouNow, because I feel like people are especially kind of themselves and transparent here. You can't fucking fake it.
Yeah.
No one wants to see, like, no one's interested.
No.
Yeah,
people really like the real stuff, which is really cool. And everyone that we've been streaming with, because we did a lot of guesting the first few weeks, and like everyone is so genuinely nice here. And I think
it's kind of weird at first, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like it's like when you go to Canada or you go to Sweden, and people are like, it's like, why is everyone so nice? This is creeping me out. And then it's like, you know what? It might just be that people are nice. Let's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's the same like in the music industry. I think we've been doing a bunch of research. Have you listened to And the Writer Is, the podcast?
I listened to the first. I listened to no, I haven't.
Okay,
sorry.
Great, it's a
I had
fantastic.
to check the files in my brain first.
It's fantastic, and it shows how like the not nice people rarely make it to the top. Like there's a lot of like really good people like at the top, but you just have to get through like the middle where there's like a lot of like not very nice people and some really nice people. But in order to get to like the absolute top, you have to be a decent human being because people call you out on it.
Well, no one wants to work with you.
No, exactly.
Tori was asking, what is and the writer is, right?
And the Writer Is.
Yeah. It's a podcast, and so you guys were on it?
No. It's just one. It's our favorite podcast. It's do you know who Ross Golan is? He wrote Dangerous Woman, a bunch of those, My House, whatever. So it's just the absolute top songwriters that write for like, you know, top 100 and stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Cool. Yeah.
So I see you have a lot of fans that have popped in.
Yeah.
And, appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for coming through. This is sort of an opportunity if you guys ever had, you know, questions about John and Amelie's sort of journey or what they're working on or what they're thinking about, you know, feel free to ask questions. You grounded them. Appreciate that, Cynthia. She's like, I'm just saying. I have to ground them. Like they were like wild electrical signals, and I'm like,
all me.
Yeah, it was just like John was late to a stream once, and so she grounded John.
Yeah,
we didn't really listen.
Good.
Yeah.
Who inspired you guys?
Ooh, I think it comes from a lot of different places. I grew up, I think I got my biggest like music, like it's always when you're around like 14, right? That you get like your biggest like inspirations. So for me, it was Hayley Williams from Paramore and Amelie from Evanescence. Those were really like some of the biggest ones for me. Sara Barielles has stuck with me for a while, especially her song Gravity. And that's kind of the stuff that we have been doing, like close to what she does, which is very like organic pop kind of stuff.
Tori's right on board with you. She's like, yep.
Yay.
Some of the best female singers on the planet ever.
Yeah. And they don't rely on, you know, the super like fancy riffs and runs. They're just like really powerful singers, which like I am definitely more in that category than like an Ariana Grande, like doing runs and riffs and stuff. So I think for me it was easier to sing their stuff. And so like when I was 14, I like colored my hair black and I started a rock band. I thought it was super cool. But then I didn't do music too much until I met John. So for me, like John was really a huge inspiration because he wanted music so much and couldn't like.
You guys met in a music theory class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's nerdy. Like we're nerdy, but that's like, yeah, we were doing like C# minor, and I'm like, wow, starting to feel like we should hang out more. Tell me about the class.
Well, it was like basic music theory, so it was like nothing too fancy. But John would sometimes, in the U.S., like you get let out earlier than you are allowed to leave the classroom. So
that doesn't happen in Sweden. They're like, no, you're staying until exactly 11
until the bell rings. But John would play this song called "Kiss the Rain" by U.S.A, which is one of my favorites. If John can figure it out.
I remember what the next word is.
Whatever, it's that one.
Yeah,
super pretty, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I love that song. And I think we started talking there, and then he went home and like learned the whole thing for me. And then we actually had someone play
Smart, John. You're like, you know what I should really learn that song.
I think it was this one.
Yeah, it's that one. That's the one.
Yeah.
John's got good ears, bro.
Yep. And so we started talking there, and then every Friday we would have these like competitions, like girls versus boys, where we just like compete in music theory. It was really fun, and like I was like I'm a geek, so like I was the best one of the girls, and John was the best one of the guys. So we would always be put against each other.
Nice.
And then he said he had a studio in his basement that he wanted me to come check out.
It wasn't very cool. It was a desk.
What did you have? You had like a desk and like a guitar.
A really bad laptop.
Yeah, like an old interface.
A single microphone, no sound isolation.
And I had been I've been in studio since I was 10 because I've been working as a voice actress since I was like really young. So like that's what I expected, like a fancy like glass studio, and I like there's just like a little desk in a basement. Yeah. Anyway,
check out my mixes.
I was not very impressed, but we did have a great conversation, and that led to everything that is today.
So do you guys produce, for the most part, do you produce your music kind of like in-house between the two of you, or John, is that kind of your thing? How do you guys do that?
So I actually, I went to school for audio production for university.
Where did you go?
I went to Asbury University in Kentucky. It's like super small school. Like my class for audio production, we had like 7 people in our class. And
great. So you get to ask every single question you could possibly have.
Yeah. There's only one audio professor, and he was a Grammy Award winner, and just like really, really knew how to teach you how to do basic stuff. But like when you don't have a lot of money. But the thing is like we kind of got to this point where we produced our first EP ourselves completely.
In John's parents' basement.
Yeah. And super.
What's the name of that EP?
It was just called 7000 Apart. It was self-titled.
Cool.
You can find it
available on your website, and
only on our website. Yeah. We took it down because the quality, like we worked with like an old Mac laptop that would like not just crack all the time.
I mistook like electrical noise for like clicks and pops in the audio because it was just so bad. Like that's
and we worked with like $100 microphone that I had bought because it was pretty, so that's the kind of level stuff.
I think that's rad. I think that's rad that you guys, I'm serious. I think that's so cool that you've got, it's almost like what I'll do is sometimes if I have someone I really admire, whatever, comedian or an actor or someone in the industry or whatever the hell it is, and I'll be like, let me see when they were just getting their sea legs. I want to see them like kind of like trying to get their balance, because that's more relatable than the sort of the later part of the story where it's like, well, of course they had this and they had that. It was all predestined. No, dude. Yeah. They did their demo in a basement with $100 mic.
Yeah.
Go listen to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. And we were really thankful for that, because around here too in Wisconsin, like people don't really listen to Spotify. And so that we had just something that people could buy was like huge, because we like actually sold a bunch of copies of that, and we had another way to make money when we did those like free gigs and those farmers markets,
So you're telling me people in Wisconsin buy CDs right now?
100%.
They do.
Oh, dude.
No one has Spotify
I have
here.
some CDs I'd like to get to that part of the country, because I have written
number
them all
50
off.
cities.
Yeah.
This is amazing news.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Come tour.
So how are you producing your stuff now?
So the album that is out now,
which is called
our debut album, it's called We Are More. And that was, first we did a Kickstarter. So it was funded completely pretty much by our fans and family, which was super duper cool. And then we went to Sweden to record it. So we worked with an artist coach over in Sweden who knew a producer in the same like little
Thank you,
town.
Molly.
Who just like he was really, really good at the whole like real acoustic instrument kind of thing. And we didn't really know where to start. So we were just like, let's just put ourselves in a box, only use real instruments, start there. Because we wanted something timeless, something that we can look back on in 10 years and be like, no, that sounds pretty good today.
We needed a third opinion too. Because like we had made a ton of demos during that 2018. We were part of a group called Song a Week. So we did like a song every single week, uploaded it, got critiques, and like critiqued other people. And we just like, we had worked on the song so much that we were like, we need a producer, you know?
And we wanted to take it to the next step.
Yeah. We wanted someone who had done it for like 10 years or 15 years to really just like make it better than what we could do ourselves in like our apartment.
Yeah.
What we have now. So yeah.
That's amazing.
It was really
what do you think that producer, so the artist coach and producer is the same person? Was the same person?
No, it's two people, but the artist coach kind of produced the vocals because she's really good at that. So she helped me a lot, which is like, because I have a tendency to be very theatrical and very like Disney-esque, and in order to find more of that pop sound, she kind of produced my vocals and stuff, so that was really, really great. But I would say like we produced it all four of us because we all had like inputs and stuff, but we had real musicians that came up with parts, and so we had like a super talented drummer and an insane bassist, and so that was really, really, really great. Just to get like a feel. We wanted it to be musicianship, if that makes sense, and not just like loops and tracks and blah, 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 which is awesome too. But just like that, we wanted a firm foundation in a timeless sense where it's just like real.
Right. What do you think? And you got Wisconsin in the house here, totally.
Yeah.
And again, if you guys have questions, I mean, this is sort of an opportunity. I'm sure you guys are doing a lot of this. And
they can ask questions whenever we
completely. But like, what do you think that producer / artist coach and that group? What do you think that team brought that you didn't have before? Is there things that you can look back and say, you know, what really helped was having those people to do X or Y or guide us through these different pieces of what you were doing?
I think structure and deadlines and like accountability. Like we like when you do everything yourself, like you get exhausted from it. And so like having someone that tells you like where the best time, like where to best put your time, you know, because like you have so much to do that if you like try to do everything, you're just going to burn out really quickly. So you need to know where to best put
like
your
if
time.
You try to be on all social media platforms and you try to do all that and you try to, you know, figure out all the drum parts and all the bass parts, and it's just it's a lot to be independent. But I think also just having someone who says, that was a good enough take, good job, let's move on.
Yeah.
Right.
Having someone to do it, because I'm very much a perfectionist. Especially when it comes to my vocals, I'm never happy enough. And just having someone that can be like, no, stop, that was good, let's move on, good job, like, just
say a few curse words after like holy, you know, like that was amazing.
But just like that encouragement, and that someone outside of us saying like, oh, I'm so excited for this song, this is going to be so good. I think that's really the biggest thing about working with other people. Like, of course, like the technical side and making sure that the drums sound just right, and blah, 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 and that the vocals are comped in a certain way, whatever. That is all like awesome, obviously, to make it to the next step. But in order to put out anything at all, I think you need that encouragement and just someone else to be excited for you.
For sure. What so you have the new album is out now. Are there what are the just big picture stuff? Like, are there things, you know, we batted a couple of emails back and forth about stuff, but like, is there anything that maybe you're trying to move into now, you're trying to figure out, or things that you think would be fun to talk about as far as like where you'd like to take your music now?
Yeah, for sure. The album was a really, really good stepping stone. And then we released one single after that, the one that you just heard, which was recorded in Nashville with a friend of ours. So that was really, really cool. we had lots of plans. We had like 40. We were supposed to play shows this year, just like promote the album. And
are you booking your own shows?
Yes.
Yeah, we do everything ourselves still. So
are you playing in LA at all? Like, were you planning on playing in LA?
Not yet. We started with the Midwest because we can drive.
That makes sense. It totally makes sense. Yeah.
So we've been starting just like we went as south as Nashville and went as east as Cleveland. And then we were in Missouri and stuff too.
West is Columbia, Missouri.
And summer is the time to do it because winter is not the time to do it.
No, we went in February.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was kind of bad weather, but
like it was coat concerts,
snowstorms in between Minneapolis. And,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Yeah, but
we actually did 65 shows in 2019, and we actually had already booked 65 as of February.
Yeah.
Yep.
For 2020. So the problem was like obviously everything hit. So we just we've had to pivot, and because of that pivot, it's really like been like challenging, I guess, figuring out because that was our plan. So,
we got hit really, really hard. It's been very, very difficult because of everything. And like
in other words, if I may, what I'm hearing you say, subtext is we were really relying on those live shows to sort of make our summer work, and now they're not happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's so much of the industry. Have you guys and I don't mean to be dismissive about that. It's just like, that's part of the reason that I decided to do this. I wrote a whole sort of section of publications on virtual music and collaborative production and live streaming and all sorts of stuff because I'm concerned. I'm concerned for the whole ecosystem. I'm not as concerned for you guys. And I'll tell you because what I emailed you last night, you guys are ambitious and you're hardworking and you're willing to pivot, to use your term. And so this will be a hard time for everybody, but you are an example of what I'm hoping the entire industry will be doing, which is like, okay, there's a lot of lemons in the room. Let's make some lemonade. I don't know how to make lemonade. Fine. We'll figure out how to make lemonade.
Yeah.
Right? And I would say I'm proud of you, but that sounds like the wrong way to say it. But I'm like, I want to highlight you guys as an example of when I try and tell people like, quit your crying. It's tough for everybody. And our choices now are to kind of like not do anything and worry about it for a while, or figure out what is available now that wasn't available 3 months ago. What needs to happen so that we can make our way through this. And I'm just super stoked that you guys have this sort of, I don't know where the mindset comes from. It's just this sort of entrepreneurial kind of like, well, we got to do something. And that's pretty rare in music and other places too. So I'm glad you guys are doing that. Have you connected, or are you aware of Emma McGann?
Yeah, we've chatted with her a little bit. We've been on her stream, and we have we're in that competition that she is a judge on, the singing.
Amazing.
Not March Madness, but it's something madness, I think. Whatever. June Madness?
I don't know.
Yeah.
One of the stories that she shared with us, she and James were on a couple of times when we first kicked this off, and your story reminded me almost the inverse of what she had said back in the day, which was, we were like wrapped up. We were in the middle of a tour, and we were, doing our dates just like we're supposed to. And we're in the back of the bus or whatever, the van. I'm sure they didn't have a bus. They had a van or whatever. And they're just like, you know what? What's this live streaming thing? And this was like 7 years ago.
Wow.
And they just toyed around with it. And they were like, hey, guys, and whatever they did. And they both said, basically, from the live streaming, they got more from it in terms of engagement. They got more from it in terms of merch sales and everything else than they did from a week of touring. And that was when they could tour.
Yeah.
And so they suddenly realized like, maybe there's something here, because we don't have to move from place to place to place to place to place to do this. And it's also turning over a better return on our time. So honestly, if you guys have moved into this space and whatever other live stream platforms and whatever else is going on with Patreon or like those things, it's almost like if you lean into those now, you might get to the point where you're actually potentially better off in a couple of months if you just really keep doing what you're doing. I think you guys have done a tremendous job. How long have you been on YouNow?
I think it's been 3 or it must be 4 weeks now, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's been 4 weeks in like actually knowing about it.
Yeah.
Like knowing what it is and like doing.
And so question, so you guys have a lot of fans on here and they're all coming in and sort of chiming in. Like, did you guys find out about 7000 from YouNow, or did you know them from before and sort of scoop in here and be kind of like watching them here?
It's a combination.
Yeah.
So Brandy, as you can see in the chat, she was the one that was like, "Hey, you should try YouNow." She's been on it for a really long time.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we were trying something. There's a new app called Sessions. Have you heard of it?
I have.
Yeah. And we've been in contact with them and stuff and tried it out, and we were like, okay, this works. This is cool.
Yep.
And then we tried YouNow, and the response was like, whoa. We had a guy. He goes by the name of Unknown here, and he just like kind of grabbed us and was like, I'm gonna get you your first fans. Like you can guest on this channel, this channel, this channel, this channel. And all of a sudden, like people started knowing who we were. We just did, we sang Shallow like 30 times in a row. It was great. And
Thank you, Unknown.
Yeah, exactly.
He's popped on our channel as well. And like I know he's a good force in the YouNow universe for sure. He's awesome.
Definitely.
No. And
So I wanted to, because again, I mean, the spirit of this channel in a way is to help, to collaborate, to connect, so here's two things that pop in my mind. One is, if you're talking to an artist or a songwriter or a duo or whatever, and they're like, okay, what did you guys just learn that we could help us understand what you've experienced over the last few weeks? That would be really cool to hear your perspective and just sort of talk about it. So like what's been some of the things that were maybe like highlights or that you really loved about that process, and were there any challenges that you went through or that you're still trying to figure out?
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Go first.
No, but I feel like I'm talking a lot today.
I mean, I have something too.
But whatever. I'll start. Okay. No, but what was really, I think YouNow is something that people haven't heard of. Is one thing. Like, it's not big right now. It's not the hot thing. Like, everyone's on TikTok, and I think people aren't like, because we've been recommending it to people around it because we know a lot of artists, and we're like, hey, you would be so good on YouNow, but people are a little hesitant because they don't know what it is, and it's there's so many things to learn. Like, it took us like really like a week to be like, what's partnered, what's the likes for, like how does this work? Like, it really.
Did you try Twitch? Did you try any of the other ones as well, or simultaneously or beforehand?
Yeah, we've done a couple streams on Sessions, and we've done one stream on Twitch and like one on YouTube or something.
And Facebook
we've done a few on Facebook too. Facebook is not bad. We have a good following there, but it was hard to get people to engage. And when you get to YouNow, people are like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so good!" Oh, what? And
I know it's almost the feel you get. The feel I get is like, there are venues that you go to where you've got to bring your whole crowd, and they're like, well, a minimum of 50 people, and we get half the door, and you're like, shit, we're gonna have to promote the hell out of this. And there are venues where you go and it's like, yeah, you guys play Friday night, we're gonna have 100 people here for sure. Yeah. And they're gonna they love live music, and you're like, shit, I'd much rather play at the venue where people are already warm, right? That's what
So Far Sounds
sort of felt like, right?
Yeah, it's very much the same feeling as we get from So Far Sounds. You know them, right?
Yeah, I don't know them a lot, but I know of them, and I love what they're doing.
Yeah, they were the reason we could go on the big like 8-state tour in February, and so like it really.
So Far Sounds, for anyone that might be interested, they basically do like home concerts, right? They sort of arrange for home concerts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So or like it can be at like anywhere.
Yeah, it's like like intimate settings, like
intimate concerts. Okay, not necessarily. Yeah.
They're secret until the day of the show, so you don't know where it's going to be. You don't know who's playing, and typically they get, I mean, like the least amount of people is maybe 40, and it's up to about 150. So it's like super intimate settings, but
amazing.
There to hear music, and like it's dead quiet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So they engage instantly. They're like there to buy. Like
if you want them to clap, clap along, they do that. If you want them to snap, they snap along. If you want them to sing along, they do that. So like it's really great. It's kind of, and they're there for you, and that's what I feel like YouNow is as well. We talked about it today that like Facebook, like if you're on Facebook and someone's streaming, like you're so taught to keep scrolling. Like it's just, Facebook teaches you to keep scrolling. So staying on one video for more than like a minute is really uncommon. But here on YouNow, it's not a streaming thing, or it's not a scrolling thing. It's like you click and then you're there, you know? And so like it's much more likely that people are going to stay and be engaged and actually want to follow along for a while than I
think for like artists in general, but people in general, like just with like live streaming and stuff, like what you mentioned with Emma too, like that's something that I think we should really mention too, is that like we've been wanting to do stuff online for a long time. It's just like we didn't have the time to do it because we were doing like at least 12 shows a month plus everything else.
Yeah.
So it's like now we actually have the time, and artists have the time to do this type of stuff. And it really, like you said, I mean, like one day when we guested on a bunch of people's streams, like we were in front of like 400 people within like an hour. Whereas, we would have had to drive like, I mean, that would have been at least like 4 or 5 shows. So like
400 people is a lot.
That's a lot of people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Simultaneously, concurrent?
No, it was on different streams, but it was like
that's still like that's absolutely, that's great.
But it's playing a new bar every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like that's something that you can't do when you're like on the road. So
I want to mention something else too, though. And again, you guys are how do I put this? I feel like you've already put in a certain amount of time making YouTube videos, doing cover videos. It's not like you just walked on to YouNow and went, we've never done anything like this before. We've never created videos on how we make our music. We've never done loop pedal videos. We haven't written a lot of songs. You did all of that and brought all of that onto what you were doing on YouNow, and then just needed to sort of like be like, oh, this is an interesting new environment, but it's not 100% new.
Yeah.
You put in a lot ahead of time. What would you tell newer artists that are exploring this? Because you were sort of alluding to it a second ago, like you tell people, oh, YouNow, and they kind of go, what is that? What would you say is like, well, try this or try this. This is what worked for us.
I think first of all, we would help them to like have them guest on our stream, and then tell like, oh, because I've gotten so many friends here now, and we would like make sure that, hey, if this person wants to guest, you should really do it because they're awesome. Because I think starting by guesting really was a really great way to get those like first fans. And also if you do have fans outside of YouNow, if you can bring them in, like that's been so huge, because even if like we've had like no one really watching or engaging, if you have a bad stream, which you do sometimes, but we still have our super fans. The 7000 apart gang, they're the best.
I can tell.
I know, they're amazing. And as long as they're there, we feel like it's worth it, because we know, and they know which songs to request. Like they always have something like, so it's really, really, really great. I think that's definitely one thing I would say. And then also stick with it, because you're going to have some bad streams. We've had some bad streams. We were so lucky to get Editor's Choice the first 2 weeks, that like when we were off Editor's Choice, our numbers went down for obvious reasons. And we were like, but what now? Like things aren't going. Like I'm such a, I take things personally.
Amelie's very much a type A personality. She wants to get all
I want to win.
Let's get this done yesterday. No,
I want to win No, but so.
But she wants to get good grades, know, and so she,
Right.
I want to be on top of all the lists.
We want you to get good grades. It reminds me of something that Emma said too about the consistency. I mean, again, I think Tori and I were super lucky. By the way, let me do something that I'm supposed to do, and I'm trying to do better at this. So, Chuluka, dude, absolutely. I'm a huge fan of Dash. I have a man crush on Dash. He's mad talented.
So good.
His fro,
He's
someday amazing. I would love to. Everything, his auto harp, like he was the first person that I'm like, I need to do YouNow all the time because that cat. I would love to have him on. We just haven't gotten around to, making that happen. But he is like, he's way mad talented. I'll stop now. But thank you for the suggestions, and like, absolutely, we're all about that. And thank you guys for showing up and being a part of this. I'm not as good at the, sort of like reading the stream, and I'm still learning that part. And the other thing I wanted to mention was, I think Tori and I were very lucky that when we were first getting into this and, figuring out what we were going to do with it, and we still don't know what the hell we're doing, but the very first person that I really talked to was Emma McGann. I wrote an article and spoke to her and talked to her about it. And so my initial impression of how all this stuff works was her. And what I've carried with me more than anything else, besides all of the like, well, this is a smart way to do this, and this is how this worked, and all that, was she loves her audience.
Yeah.
Like, she really just cares about them and sees them as friends and enjoys the process of like doing stuff for them and with them. And that's the secret. As far everything else that I've gotten, I mean, that was the thing that really stood out for me with her. And I feel like as long as that, I guess that's what I took from it was, okay, whatever we're going to do on this, it should be something where the intention is, let's do something that sort of feels right, is natural to what we do, and somehow is, I don't know, helpful is the right word, but just kind of like taking care of your community in whatever unique way that you do. So I feel lucky that that was my initial exposure to the whole idea of live streaming, really, at a higher level. And I'm like, okay. So, and I feel like you guys, part of what's made it easy and accelerated for you is that, like you said in the beginning, John, that's just who you are anyway. So thank God that's what actually works.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And I think it not just on live streaming, but like in general, I think if you're good to your fans are going to be good to you.
And everyone,
because it's
a nice person.
Exactly. It's not just about the music. It's about personality. Like, I don't know how many, when I was 14, when I was like really getting into Amelie and Evanescence and whatever, like I watched every interview I could find. You wanted to see that behind the scenes. You wanted to like feel how it would be to meet them. You wanted like that kind of, that's how you like grow an audience, is not just putting out really cool music videos and really great music. It's about also sharing a piece of yourself so that they also can connect to you. And
sorry, I laughed because Tori said, we love nice people.
Yeah.
We did
Tori,
too.
you're so annoying.
We do too.
Why would you say that? That's so awkward. I'm just kidding.
No, we try to only really
love nice
work with nice people too. Like that's a big thing for us, like, because it sucks otherwise, it's not fun.
So I feel like you guys are doing so many awesome things right, and for what it's worth, like my background is a lot more in stuff outside of live streaming. So is there anything, while we've got 10 minutes left, because I know you guys need to bounce and get ready for your performance, which is at I think local time, it's at 11:30, 2:30 your time, correct? That sound right?
We're in Central time.
Oh, you're Central time. Sorry. So 2:30 Eastern.
Yeah, so we're good.
1:30 Central.
Exactly.
So in about an hour.
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Yes.
45 minutes.
Yeah. 40.
So, oh, Tori was told that you were too nice to make it in the industry. That's so true. That's why you've never advanced. Dude, you've crushed it. Tori, I've known Tori for 3 or 4 years. Tori is so nice that everybody just like loves to work with her. Oh. So I think what you guys are saying, even from the sort of part of the industry that isn't necessarily creating music every day, niceness really is, that's the way to go. It's just the way to go. And I think it's becoming more so. But is there anything that outside of the live streaming piece that you guys are looking at trying to do, not only for your benefit, but also for anyone that might be here? That's kind of part of what we try and do on the channel, is talk about Dash. Dude, what's up? Good to see you. It's a good thing you weren't here 10 minutes ago. I was like loving on you really hard. And you would have been like, dude, I gotta go, man. You're making me blush. I love your channel. I love your music. I'm the guy, dude. I just gotta do this. You gotta let me.
You're so fine. We love Dash.
I'm the guy. I don't know if you remember this, bro, because this was like 2 months ago when I first hopped onto YouNow. But you were doing a stream. I feel like I'm like, talking to like, and you were doing like a live rap and improvising, and I was doing all this shit. I'm like, well, he's not going to be able to, like, he's like, give me some words. I'm like, hamburger. I'm like, he's not gonna be able to do hamburger. And then I'm like, cheese. And I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And he was crushing it. And I'm like, God, this guy's unstoppable. Dash is like, I do not remember that, bro. I'm kidding. But like, love your stuff. And so happy that you're on here. This is the most awkward it's ever gotten for me. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. So is there anything that, and we can obviously extend this another time, or we can talk more offline or what have you, but like, is there any part of what you're doing that you're trying to figure out outside of live streaming that we might want to chime in on or ask about?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many facets to being like an independent musician, but I think something we're looking at now is possibly looking to find some kind of manager. We were approached by AGD. What do they call it again?
AGD in Nashville.
Entertainment. Yeah, in Nashville, where like you.
So let me pause you for a second. That's awesome. Yeah. Totally get it. So the things that come to mind, and again, I'm just being sensitive to time, so I'll just kind of like throw a couple things out there. Oftentimes with independent musicians, the reason they're looking for a manager is not necessarily that they're looking for a manager per se, but they're looking to have certain things either taken care of for them or certain things that happen. And the reason that can be useful to outline is because sometimes a management team is the exact person to do that, or a group to do that with you. And sometimes there's other options that could be at least as good. So what is the actual end result that you would hope for from management?
Do you think help with like what we said earlier? We were working with an artist coach, and she would check in with us every week and be like, hey, so did you do all the things we talked about? And
more like a soundboard, and someone that like is invested in you, and someone who can be like, hey, you should try this out or
point
that
you in
out.
The right direction.
We're not really.
Question.
Yes.
What if you had mentors that didn't take 20% of your income?
I mean, that would be even better, but no one wants to be our mentor so far.
Well, I mean, granted, there's different ways of, building relationships that are balanced.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you never want to, in the final analysis, you never want to take a whole lot and not give back.
Exactly.
In any way. So you don't want to be necessarily trying to take advantage of someone any more than you want someone to take advantage of you. No. But there's people that maybe could guide you or provide soundboard type stuff for you, and all those things that you just mentioned. Yep. If you said to me, look, we need someone that can help us really get our business chops together and help monetize this from X to Y and get us on, a slot opening up for so-and-so. Those are probably things that you need the right person calling the right person in order to even really get those things in play. But if you're saying, look, we need people that can hold us accountable. We need people that can have some deadlines and things like that. I get that. And the fact that you're self-aware and be able to say, we need someone to help us do that is cool. But a manager, the good news is a manager has that financial relationship with you where they're literally invested in your success. So they have a vested interest in you getting shit done, because that's generally speaking, that's how they're going to get paid, if at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which can be good, but also, like, I almost feel like management and getting signed are these sort of delicate things where, it's what am I trying to say? It can be a good thing, but it's not like this magic bullet, or it's not like this thing that, like, right. So outside of the accountability and the deadlines, what else would you want from management?
like connections as well. Like we've started doing a lot of co-writing. We've started doing a lot of like that type of stuff. Like
with like, are you doing stuff with LA, New York, where?
Mostly Sweden, Stockholm
and Nashville.
Stockholm and Nashville.
Yeah.
We because the problem is like the whole like mentor situation. We would love that, but like we have reached out to pretty much every musician in our area, and people aren't like that into things. Like there aren't that many full-time musicians, and the ones that are, like, they play cover gigs and they're happy doing that, and it's not like a big thing. I think traveling down to Nashville and stuff and meeting more people down there, that could open some doors. We're also going to spend more time in Sweden, and hopefully, like, we do have some
Stockholm.
Yeah, we do have some connections to a label over there, and
it's awesome.
So that's like a good thing. But now we can't be there, so it's just a little tricky. But I think another thing, we would just like the person that reached out to us from this AGD management people. She's super strategic, so she knows how like Facebook ads work. She knows how Instagram ads work. She knows like how to funnel things and how to build that hype that we might not have like mastered yet. So I think that would be really, really great too, just to know how to market our music, because we know how to make it. But like marketing is something that's like so hard to spend money on unless someone tells you you need to spend money on it. You know what I mean? It's not a fun thing to spend money on, but it's something that you could
necessary.
Spend money on.
It should be like half of your budget.
Yeah.
And like our first album, we did it all ourselves, but we literally ran out of time. Like we ran out of time and money to market. So like we got super lucky with our first single. It got like on a lot of algorithmic playlists. But like
amazing.
I was super lucky. Like in everything else, we didn't have that same luck.
And we hadn't pushed it as hard as the first, because you know, first single you push it a little hard, and then you feel bad about like, hey, our second single dropped. Hey, you should check it out. You feel a little bit more self-conscious. And you don't do it as much.
Want, like, help with like a strategy behind that, and also because
someone that can tell you like you write all your connections, and no one's gonna care. You need to do that. It's just about doing it, you know, instead of like having that battle with yourself. Should I write them? I don't know them that well. Maybe they think I'm obnoxious. Oh no, you know, it's very Swedish of me as well. Anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, couple thoughts, just my 2 cents on
please.
it. I mean, I think the geographic disadvantage argument is becoming weaker by the hour.
Yeah.
I think even a year ago, before all this shit happened, you could argue that there's so many things that one can do online. There's so many different ways that you could turn a disadvantage into an advantage, that as talented and hardworking as you guys are, I don't see the geographic thing being a massive disadvantage, especially because you could do some things in Sweden from time to time, or pivot there for a year, or go to Nashville from time to time, or keep your expenses down in Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay.
Green Bay or whatever. Like, you've got options.
Yes.
And you've got YouNow, and you've got all sorts of other stuff that is happening online. You also have the Patreon page. Tori, if you want to just like post that up there so that people can find them, website, all that kind of good stuff. Like, you guys have lots of different things you could be doing that have nothing to do with where you are geographically.
Yeah.
You know, if you're trying to get management, from what I've heard over the years from managers and artists, is the best way to get management is not need management.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, you know, all those things that you'd love for managers to do it yourself.
Yeah.
And execute against it to where you're doing it fairly well. Because then they have a financial incentive to take it from, you know, a 4 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 instead of the 1 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And so also then you're not waiting for someone. You got it, Tori. You're not waiting for someone to sort of figure things out for you. You figured them out just enough. I know nobody really likes to do Facebook ads, and nobody likes to do all that kind of stuff that you have to do, but you guys knowing enough about it that you can get a single moving in the right direction, put you in a better space to be able to get quality management on good terms, and be able to manage those managers and say, hey, like, we were thinking of this and that. And what you're genuinely getting from them is that strategy. To me, what you're describing is tactical, not strategy. Strategy to me is like, strategy is like, when I'm listening to your music, I think to myself, if you guys had instrumentals of all that stuff and had that as something you could pitch for licensing, not that the vocal part isn't amazing, but
no.
that gets you a door in for someone to go, God, this stuff is, oh my God, like their catalog is like, they have like dozens of songs and this is really cool. Yeah. So there's things you could do that are, that open up doors for you in different parts of the industry that generate publishing. You guys have your own publishing, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah, we're self.
So if you get a song placed somewhere,
yep,
you have the master and the publisher. Well, maybe if someone's producing it for you, you're splitting that, however you're splitting that, or writing splits, but you own everything.
Yeah.
Those things are massive. So, I mean, my idea for it would be, try and engage in as many of those things that resonate with you as possible. In other words, do the live streaming, have a Patreon page, do some things for live events, try and get some placements happening. Do all of it enough. And I know that sort of goes against the grand theory of like, don't sort of overwork it. But I think at this point, because things are so fresh and you guys have so much to offer potentially in any of those avenues, and things change by the hour in terms of the environment and what's happening in the industry, that if you have a few faders up for the moment, you can actually compare apples to apples to apples to apples and say, if I put 10 hours in this and 10 hours in this and 10 hours in this and 10 hours in this, usually over a period of time, one's going to be way up here in terms of the result. Yeah. And then you can be like, well, it seems to, that's what strategy is to me, is, okay, for whatever reason, the demand of the market, our natural talent, the connections we have, but whatever, this one over here gets us 10 times the result for basically the same amount of effort and time. You guys are also very, very good songwriters. And I think you guys connecting with other writers that are either on your level or maybe a notch or two above your level, that are willing to say, like, let's work on some stuff and see what happens. And you guys, that's not something that happens overnight, but over a course of years, if you're writing with really good people, something's going to happen for that. And that's purely publishing and writing. And that could be another artist doing your song. That could be a collab. That could be any number of things. But any of those things could work. And they all sort of help each other. It's sort of like the people that say, you know, how'd you get that production gig? Well, I was on tour with the guy and I met the guitarist who plays for so-and-so. So the more circles you play in and contribute in, the more people can go, wow, you guys are great to work with. You're super talented. And we're coming through, you know, Wisconsin next week. Like, we should hang out and do some co-writes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I guess just like, I just, you guys are going to be successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's just a matter of like staying consistent, which is what you've been doing. And look, I mean, if we can be a soundboard for you, you want to pop in once a month and say, like, what are you guys up to? What are we doing? You know, like, that's the kind of shit, because it's helpful for you, but it's also helpful for everybody else to hear that process.
Definitely.
And learn from it. So like, anything we can help with on that, or that I can help with, or that Tori can help with. LA questions. If you guys have venues ultimately that you want to be, Tori has probably more connects on live events and things than I do, because she does stuff for Live Nation company and whatnot. Awesome. But especially live LA venues, if you guys are trying to book any of those, radio airplay, if you're trying to get coverage, we can look at your EPK next time if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
There's a bunch of things that I was just looking at as I was glancing at it. I'm like, this could sort of be very quickly tightened up a little bit, so that the average writer or whoever is like, oh, yep, this. Hey, you guys want to come on next Wednesday? It's like, it's just like songwriting. If there's an editing that goes into making that sort of making that easily digestible.
Yeah, for sure.
So thank you, Chu. I appreciate the words, and you guys have a lot of love from the people in the room. So anyway, sorry, I rambled for a long time, but does that make sense?
It was good. It was good. Okay. I think we need that a little bit. I think, like, Yeah, as I said, like it's been very, very hard, and mentally and stuff too. And we've had some other like personal things that have happened during this time as well. So I think we've just been a little down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And YouNow has been like super nice to just kind of escape all that. But I think it's time for us to start being a little more like back to what we used to be, which was like super excited and super hardworking and all that. But because we don't make money off of shows anymore, I have to work a lot more on my other job. I translate for Disney and stuff, and so like that takes up a lot
into
of
Swedish or
from English to Swedish. Yeah. And so I think this was really good just to get like a little bit of a push. Like, come on, no more excuses. Just get back into work.
I mean, I hate to say it, but that's really sincerely how I feel about you guys.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing if someone's like not that talented or not that driven or the time isn't really right or whatever, then you're going to be like, hey, like do the best you can. We'll see what happens. But you guys are so talented and have put so much on the board already that it's like, do not, it's hard to say to somebody else because everyone's got their own thing and their own balance, and there's always things that you have to contend with that other people don't understand, and that energy only goes so far. But where I'm coming from is a positive place. It's like you guys are so fucking lucky that you've got that talent, you found each other, you put songs out, you've got an audience. Like, you have 1,000 advantages for every disadvantage that you may feel you have. So like go do stuff. And however we haven't really done anything like this before. And it's kind of not, I'm not going to let you guys off the hook.
Good.
Because kind of where I'm coming from. So I would love to have you on again. I don't know exactly when, maybe it's like a month from now or X amount of time from now. And maybe it's like, okay, let's see if you guys can do X or Y or Z. And then, okay, what happened? Where were the challenges? What were you able to do? Because I think that would be cool for you guys, but it's also cool for people sort of like, as like a, looking over the shoulder of the conversation to go, oh, interesting. That's kind of what the thought process is.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be fun for us. I think Tori would love it. And I think the people that come on would love it. So throw that out as kind of an abstract idea for us to follow up on.
Sounds awesome. Cause like, just like having someone to check in with once a month where you can, that we can talk about, okay, so today we're at like 930 fans or something here. Let's see where we're at in a month. And we're planning on a new series for YouTube because YouTube likes 10-minute videos, and we're like, when you do a cover that's not like the best, it doesn't really work well. And what if we do 3 covers in one and call it a session instead and put it out? So we have a bunch of ideas that are brewing, and just like talking about them here and then like try them for a month and then come back and see like, how did that work? I think that's a really cool idea.
We're super for like helping out other people. That's one thing with Green Bay is it's a very competitive community.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Because of the football, or like, why did you do this? You're like, people play
it's
football.
So stupid.
It's so small. There's nothing, like no one here is really even making a full-time living. Like we're, and the thing is I think we've never been that way. Like we always want to help lift other people up too.
Completely.
Like a rising tide lifts all ships mentality. And like, like we're totally fine doing any of that. Like, on stream
and
too,
sharing what we've learned and all that good stuff. We love talking to other musicians as well. And so
awesome. So good. I'll let you guys do a little warm up or whatever you guys do, get some water, and we'll check you guys out in 20. Thank you so much for coming on and just being you. We love you guys.
Having us. This was awesome. This was really, really fun.
For sure. And so bring us along for the journey, and we're in touch, so we'll figure out like what's a cool way to sort of do this again in the right way that it'll be dope for everybody. Thank you guys for coming on. Does anybody else have any I know I just let you guys off the hook and then I'm like, wait, don't go yet.
That's all good.
So does anybody have any stuff maybe for next time? Thank you guys for coming in. Shu, you're awesome. You and I need to get together to just talk about why Dash is awesome. That would be a long ass interview
Have like an hour
session conversation. T, thank you so much for being here. I kind of promised you that you'd be able to pop in. You wanna pop in for a second when I let these guys get their water break? Dash, thank you for hanging with us. I'll try and make it a little bit less like I won't make it so extreme next time. I was caught off guard. I'm a super big fan of your singing and everything else. Brandy, thank you so much. There's some good points. Cynthia, this is Pete awkwardly trying to learn how to like, keep track of your audience and make sure they're taken care of. So thank you guys. I'll let you guys go. Do your thing. And we'll see you in 20. Love you.
We'll see you. Yeah.
Dash, you're the man, dude. T, you want to come on? Yeah. He's like, yes, sure. Yes, I'll come on. Sure. Sounds good. Like, yo, dude, bring me on. Tori, you want to pop in? Want to chit chat? You don't want to work. What's up?
Nothing much.
Cool. So you do some rapping? Tori likes that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So how long have you been on YouNow? What do you like about YouNow?
Just to meet new people and stay positive and show people my talents.
Dope. So I feel exactly the same way. I like the ability to meet new people. The positivity here is like insane. And I feel like we have our little piece of talent trying to, it's kind of like maybe showcase other people. We've been here, Chu, Luca, we've been here like 2 months-ish, something like that. Something like that, yeah, Tori, March, April. So when you are sort of showcasing your talent, do you just do like freestyle raps? How do you normally do it?
I just write my raps, like the stuff that come to my head on a piece of paper and go to the beat.
So, and do you sing it? Do you spit it as well, or you're just writing it at this point?
I just spit it too.
Let's do it, man. So, like, are you up to like show us something right now, or do you want to come back in another time and do it?
Yeah, I'll do it. A quick beat, quick style.
Love it, man. So you got everything lined up there? Can we hear some stuff?
Yeah.
Love it, man. Thank you.
Oops.
Tori, you want to pop on? You don't want to work right now, Tori.
It's right there. Watch the money fall. Everyone knows how I ball. Got the money in the whip. Everyone knows that's my crew. Switch your lane. That's how we do. Everyone knows that's my crew. Everyone know I shoot a three. Better check the shot. Believe me. Everyone wants to be me. Can't you see? I'm taking over the spot. And I'm showing you what I got. Everyone saying it's hot. That's all I got.
Yeah. I love how you closed it out. You're like, so it's hot. That's all I got. You even rapped the end of it, dude. That was
Thanks.
hell yeah. That's okay, Tori. I understand. Who are some hip hop artists or rap artists that you admire that like inspire you?
Well, a rapper was Wiz Khalifa and Tyga, stuff like that.
Yep. And where do you get your beats from? YouTube, or how do you find your beats?
YouTube links.
Cool. You write every day?
Sometimes I just take a break.
Yeah. And where does your like inspiration come from? How do you know when it's time to write something?
Well, my dad used to rap, so he taught me how to rap, so that's where I get it from.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you ever record your raps?
Yeah, I have a SoundCloud if you want to check it out.
Absolutely. What is it? What's the like name on your SoundCloud?
Well, I just changed it to T Fresh Montgomery.
The same as your name here, exactly?
Yeah.
Dope. So it's T-Fresh Montgomery, right?
Yeah.
We'll check it out. How many songs you got on there?
A lot. I have a lot of songs I can't name.
Cool. What's the you have like anything in mind you'd like to do with your music ultimately?
Well, I'm trying to learn some beats, like make my own beats, but my dad got about equipment.
Would you know? Is it software or something like that you'd be using, or like maybe a
Yeah, I'd be using like
machine?
Google app.
Google app.
Yeah, the beats apps.
Interesting. Oh yeah. So you mean like just apps that make beats that you can produce? Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. You're doing everything right. I mean, being able to create your own music and then being able to write your own music, like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are you up to for the summer? Are you just hanging? Are you in school, or like what?
No, I
what's
graduated in high school.
Nice.
So I'm finished.
Nice. Do you have a microphone that you can record your stuff with?
Well, I have these microphones, but I don't know if it works.
Thank you, 7000. Love you guys.
I have like
two
of these.
Look at that. He's got a cool collection. That's awesome. Now, can you use those and set them up and record your raps?
No, I just use my phone for the mic.
Okay. And the stuff you have on SoundCloud, that's how you put it up? You just record it on your phone?
Yeah, my dad told me like to do the meaning, like you know how to fill in the beat with it, like go with the beat and the flow. I just sing it. So he wanted to change my style up.
He wanted you to change your style up?
Yeah, I like to feel the beat, like the meaning and stuff.
What do you mean? I'm not sure if I know exactly what you mean by that.
You know how I sing it like it's raining, watch the money fall. He wanted to go, it's raining, watch the money fall. Everyone knows how I ball, stuff like that.
Oh, sure, yeah. Like put right. It's hard to who was I listening to recently that was talking about this? I forget who it was. It was a rapper that was just saying like it's everyone's got their own kind of sense of where they put that beat or where they put that word or how they make that work. And so it's hard to like how do you I don't know, sort of like guide someone to do that. I think it's just maybe time. The other thing that I would say is as a journalist, I remember a couple of months ago I wrote about someone who is a pretty well-known guitarist. His name is Steve Vai. He's done a lot of stuff over the last few decades. He's probably one of the most technically prolific guitarists alive. And one of the first things that he learned early on was, if I'm not going back and listening to the stuff I record, then I don't have as much feedback on how things actually feel.
Mm-hmm.
When you're actually singing it or playing something, it feels a certain way. But it usually is different when you go back and listen to it. You're like, oh, I feel like I'm like a little behind the beat there, or I'm a little ahead of the beat, or the words I'm saying aren't as clear as I thought they were, you know? So I think that's helpful, is just to go back and listen to the music that you, another thing, if you want to be a little more hardcore about it, this is like production classes that I've been a part of have included this. You know, this could be a little, I guess humbling is the right word, but like take some songs that are your songs that you love, that may be inspired or influenced by, you know, Wiz Khalifa or whoever it is, and then play your song and then play their song. And then play your song and play their song. And put them up right next to each other. Which is, again, it's humbling because, you know, those are people you idolize. And you're putting your stuff up right next to theirs and comparing as if, you know, it was like on a radio program and they played their song and then your song right afterwards. And you'll notice things after hearing one of your favorite songs in the world about your song that you might not notice if you just listen to it straight away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I mean, I think also, what part of the country are you?
Well, I used to stay in Louisiana, but I moved to Chattanooga,
Okay.
Tennessee.
So like, do you feel like there's folks in your area that are also interested in making music that you could like hang out with and share ideas with and record with and stuff?
No, I don't know nobody.
Well, you got your pops, you got your dad to be able to do stuff with, so you're lucky. So you're good. But I was just wondering if you had other people also that you could kind of do stuff with. So just keep working on your music, man. We'd love to have you on, maybe on a longer session, and talk more about music. And you're always welcome. The whole point of it was great to see you last time and this time. The whole point of what we do on this channel is basically try and understand, what musicians can do to have more success in whatever style or whatever they're trying to do. So I would guess that every single, if you come on here and just watch these, not all of them are going to be necessarily about hip hop or even about live streaming only, but I think it'll help to just hear people like 7000, hear people like Hisham Dahoud. Wednesday, you got to come on for that one Wednesday. Wednesday, July 1st, like, be here for that one. We've got Arabian Prince, who used to be in NWA, is coming on, not the 3rd, I want to say the 8th of July. So just stay with us. We're always on Wednesdays and Fridays, and like anything we can do to kind of help or guide what you're up to, like we're super down to connect you with people or help in any way we can, man.
Okay.
Do you have a way of typing your SoundCloud link in the message section so people can check it out?
Okay, hold on.
And then I'll screen save it just to make sure I have the right one. And then Tori and I will go back and listen. Yeah. Chew, dude, we gotta chat some more, man. Thanks so much for your positive energy today. Appreciate you. Do you have any relation to Ukaluka, or is it just like completely what's the word when things aren't planned? Serendipitous. Why do you pick the most complicated word for when things aren't planned? Because that's just my style. SoundCloud, there it is. So dude, I'm gonna screenshot this semi awkwardly right now, and yeah, and we'll make sure that soundcloud.com Fresh Montgomery, just like I thought. Cool, we'll check it out.
Okay.
Thank you, Tori. So cool, man. Don't forget to follow the Music Fest. Are you familiar with the Music Fest? Do you know what's going on today?
No, not really. I'll check out their Instagram.
Okay, so do you have a way to check out the schedule? Do you know, like every half hour there's new artists that are going to be performing basically today. So do you have a way to look at that schedule? Do you know the schedule?
Yeah, just on Instagram.
Okay, so if you have it, cool. I just want to make sure. I wasn't sure like where it was myself. I think Tori found it for me. So you're good friends with Ukaluka? That's funny, man. You guys have like the same last part of your name, so maybe you're related from way back. That makes no sense. T, thank you so much for popping in, man. Appreciate you. Keep writing. We'll be in touch for sure, man. All right, guys, we got to pop, and I'm gonna take a quick pee break, and then we're going to follow up with 7000 in 5 minutes. So thank you guys for popping in, and that was really, really fun. I like that a lot of you guys already knew about 7000, and were able to sort of like help us understand a little bit more about what they're about. If anybody has stuff that they'd like to learn more about live streaming in the music space, about music in general, about the industry, about any mysterious pieces of how people do things in music, message those to us so that we can kind of put those in the pipeline. Yes, definitely follow 7000 and thank you. We're going to be there in 5. We'll be there. So if you guys want to, you want me to go through Tori to help promote? Sure. Whatever you want to do, bro. Yeah, like we're all about the love. So anything, if you want to share with people that you think would want to check this out or can contribute or want to be guests or anything like that, you know, I mean, we're students, so anything we can do to help or learn, I think we're down. I know we're down. So thank you guys. And 4 minutes from 11:30, and it's definitely pee break time. So I love you guys, but you know how it is. So thank you for being here. Next Friday. Oh, okay. Next Friday, my girl, Sophella, Editor's Choice. Dope. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, what time? What time? Because Pete's got to go pee. You better write that fast, man. Not clowning. A little bit clowning. Cool. Got it. So Tori, let's stay on top of that. If we can pop in there or promote that or give it. Awesome. All right. Love you guys. Pee time. Be good. Behave. And we'll see you next Wednesday for Hisham Dahoud. Wednesday, 10 a.m. PST. Love you guys. Peace.